family fun time. Thanksgiving, circa 1955, Syracuse, New York. It was one of the few times that my old man was home for the holidays. My 5 brothers and sisters were there, with one more on the way. Usually when Dad was home from jail, Mom would soon become pregnant, and by then he'd conveniently get sent back for some drunken episode. I refer to my mother as Phyllis, and I'm happy to say that Phyllis is still with us today at age 87. My grandparents, Harold and Esther, divorced, were also in attendance. Harold was an accomplished journalist in the 20s, and by the 50s he had become an accomplished drunk. My grandmother, aka Estrogen, my old man used to call her Estrogen because Esther drank a lot of gin. I was the oldest of 7, weighing in at age 10. David was on the way, and the others were Kathy at age 8, Rosemary 7, Tisa 5, Christopher 4, and Johnny at age 2. Also at this big family event were my Uncle Jack, my Aunt Helen, and their 5 kids, all gathered around our big dining room table. Now, my Uncle Jack was a big drunk, but his drunkenness had some panache. He would often expound on the science of drinking. He once said, "If you want to be a successful drunk, you gotta eat. You gotta drink, but you gotta eat." My mom and my aunt were setting up the table, and we had all the stuff. Stuffed dates, stuffed celery, nuts, olives, pickles, cranberry sauce, sweet potatoes, biscuits, gravy, applesauce, apple butter, and the Jell-O, loaded with fruit, vegetables, marshmallows, and the pimento loaf. It was the Walmart of Jell-O. So, we were waiting at the table for the piece de resistance, the turkey. You could smell the turkey and the dressing and the vegetables. The men finally tore themselves away from the TV, and yes, there was football on TV on Thanksgiving in 1955. They put out their cigarettes and took their places at the table. My dad, my Uncle Jack, and Harold, who would be in charge of carving the big bird. My grandmother came out of the kitchen with this huge turkey and set it in the middle of the table. She then took her seat while my grandfather started saying grace. He no sooner got out, "Bless us, O Lord," when my baby sister Tisa threw up. I mean up. She puked upwards. It was like an arc from her mouth to the turkey. And it hit the turkey right smack dab in the middle of the bird. And the vomit time was lengthy. One long hurl. The arc du puke. Her puke splattered from the turkey onto some of the other goodies on the table. It was quite shocking and disgusting. It was so gross that even the grown men at the table went, "Ew." Well, after the pandemonium settled a bit, Estrogen looked at the so-called men at the table and said, "Shit." She then grabbed the turkey, brought it in the kitchen, washed it off, brought it back out, set it on the table, and said, "Eat." In the meantime, my mom and my aunt had cleaned up the table and replaced the items that were splattered on. Well, we all got over it, including the sissy men, and soon commenced to scarfing, even Tisa. Well, in spite of my family's dysfunction, we were all pretty close. So I say to you this in closing: may all your family gatherings be filled with glee, and forever and always may they be puke-free. Thank you very much.